Poverty on this scale is almost impossible to imagine. In the countries you are about to see, millions of people survive on less money in an entire year than some people spend on a single weekend. Some of these nations are sitting on trillions of dollars in natural resources they'll never see the benefit of, and one just became the newest country on earth, only to also become its poorest. This is the top 10 poorest countries in the world in 2026, ranked by GDP per capita. Number 10. Madagascar. Famous worldwide for its unique wildlife, from lemurs to baobab trees found nowhere else on Earth, this island nation faces a much harsher reality behind the postcard images. Decades of political instability, several coups, and weak infrastructure have crippled the agricultural economy most families depend on, and repeated cyclones regularly destroy crops and homes. Roughly 3 out of 4 citizens live below the poverty line, and electricity remains out of reach for most of the rural population, who still rely on wood and charcoal for cooking. Number 9. Liberia. Founded in the 1820s by freed American slaves, Liberia carries a history unlike any other African nation. But 2 brutal civil wars in the 1990s and 2000s destroyed its roads, schools, and hospitals. More than 2 decades later, Liberia is still rebuilding from the ground up. The economy leans heavily on rubber and iron ore exports, but limited industry and a healthcare system still recovering from an Ebola outbreak continue to hold back real progress for millions of citizens. Number 8. Malawi. Known as the warm heart of Africa, Malawi is one of the most densely populated countries on the continent. Yet it has almost no valuable natural resources like oil or diamonds to fall back on. Over 80% of the population survives through subsistence farming, leaving the entire economy extremely vulnerable to droughts and unpredictable weather. Devastating cyclones in recent years have wiped out harvests and infrastructure overnight, pushing an already fragile economy even further behind. Number 7. Niger. Sitting mostly within the Sahara Desert, Niger faces some of the harshest environmental conditions on Earth. Despite holding significant uranium reserves that power nuclear plants across Europe, most citizens see almost no direct benefit from mining profits, which largely flow to foreign companies and a small political elite. A military coup in recent years added further instability, and Niger's extremely high birth rate means economic growth is constantly outpaced by population growth. Number 6. Mozambique. Mozambique sits on massive untapped natural gas reserves off its northern coast, reserves that could theoretically transform its entire economy overnight. But an ongoing insurgency in the Cabo Delgado region has repeatedly delayed the major energy projects needed to unlock that wealth, scaring off the international companies required to develop it. Combined with frequent cyclones battering the coastline every year, Mozambique remains trapped in a frustrating cycle where enormous potential wealth sits underground, while most citizens struggle daily just to afford food and clean water. Number 5. Democratic Republic of Congo. This is one of the greatest paradoxes in the entire global economy. The DRC is estimated to hold roughly $24 trillion in untapped mineral wealth, including massive reserves of cobalt, a mineral now essential for nearly every smartphone and electric vehicle battery on Earth. Yet decades of civil conflict, corruption, and exploitation by foreign mining companies have meant that almost none of this staggering wealth reaches ordinary Congolese citizens. Armed militia groups still control mining regions in the country's east, and basic infrastructure remains dangerously scarce across this enormous resource-rich nation. Number 4. Somalia. Somalia has effectively lacked a fully functioning central government since the early 1990s, when the state collapsed into prolonged civil war. Decades of internal conflict, terrorism from militant groups like Al-Shabaab, and recurring famine have devastated what was once a functioning economy. A surprisingly modern telecommunications sector and a resilient diaspora sending billions home each year have kept the country from total economic collapse, but the vast majority of the population still survives through herding or subsistence farming in one of the most unstable environments in the world. Number 3. Central African Republic. Despite sitting on valuable deposits of diamonds, gold, and uranium, The Central African Republic consistently ranks among the very least developed nations on the planet by the Human Development Index. Ongoing armed conflict between rival militias has displaced enormous portions of the population, forcing hundreds of thousands into refugee camps in neighboring countries. More than 70% of citizens live on less than $3 a day, and basic infrastructure remains almost non-existent outside the capital city of Bangui. Number 2, Burundi. One of the most densely populated countries in all of Africa, Burundi has almost no industry and virtually no valuable natural resources to rely on. Nearly the entire population depends on small-scale coffee farming, but volatile global price swings and poor road infrastructure mean farmers see very little actual profit from their labor. Decades of ethnic conflict and repeated political instability have also scared away the kind of foreign investment that could help modernize the country's economy. And number 1, South Sudan. The world's newest country, having only gained independence in 2011 after decades of civil war with Sudan, South Sudan also holds the unfortunate title of the world's poorest nation by GDP per capita. Despite sitting on substantial oil reserves that should theoretically generate significant national wealth, a brutal civil war that erupted just 2 years after independence devastated the economy and displaced millions of people from their homes. Roughly 80% of the population lives below the poverty line today, and the country remains almost entirely dependent on oil exports, subsistence agriculture, and international humanitarian aid just to keep functioning. Continued political instability keeps blocking the kind of long-term investment that could finally turn its natural resources into real, lasting prosperity for its people. 10 countries, home to hundreds of millions of people, and yet, combined, their total economic output is smaller than a single mid-sized city in a wealthy nation. It's a sobering reminder of just how unevenly the world's resources, opportunities, and wealth are distributed. Which country surprised you the most on this list? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this list eye-opening, subscribe for more videos just like this one every single week.